The original Carrier Command from 1988 had incredible visuals for its time and also had a great mix of action and strategy. And now the series has been rebooted after all these years as Carrier Command Gaea Mission.
Our insurrection there was the final chance to free Earth and restore the former glory of a beaten people.
As the game starts, you're given a fairly lengthy cutscene explaining how war has broken out between the rebel group known as the United Earth Coalition and the Asian Pacific Alliance, who have already taken over Earth and all its precious water.
Everything hinged on who controlled the drinkable water supply. In the end, we were overwhelmed and lost the war on Earth.
And now the war has moved to the planet Taurus, where your rebellion is fighting to gain control.
And then you're introduced to the main character, who has about as much personality as a cheese sandwich.
Okay, that's it. You need to get back down before the APA tracks opposition and this whole thing goes pear-shaped.
And from that point on, it's very difficult to care about the story, and the game for that matter, because this really is a game where you just get lost in a sea of averageness. The first mission is an FPS section, which feels like it's from an old Xbox game. There's no jump, the graphics are muddy, there's one gun, and enemies go down from just 1 or 2 shots.
But to be fair, those first-person sections are really only in the game to break up the action, which consists mainly of real-time strategy and vehicle-based combat. Here you're the commander of a carrier that holds 4 amphibious tanks known as walruses, as well as 4 mantas, which are your aerial assault units. You can either sit back and issue them commands from your carrier's map, or jump in and manually take control of any unit at any time.
Each mission is more or less the same thing. You take control of an island by hacking into its command center and securing it.
We now have control over the entire island.
As you progress, islands offer up more and more resistance, throwing baddies and extra objectives at you, like having to find and take over sub-bases to get access to the main command center. Then, once the island is yours, you can dock your vehicles back in the carrier, head off to the next island in the chain, and do it all again.
I like the idea of being able to jump into a battle in a strategy game, but the vehicles aren't much fun, and the combat is pretty tedious.
Yeah, the controls are a bit wonky. I crashed and burned almost instantly when I got into one of those mantises. Once I got the hang of just hovering and strafing, they were a bit more fun. But those walruses were just slow and awkward.
Yeah, and the strategy is a bit of a mess. Having just 2 unit types and an 8 vehicle cap is limiting in a strategy game, but what really kills it is the pathfinding of the walruses. They spin around, get stuck, and take forever to get where you've ordered them to go. This makes you want to jump in and take control of one for yourself and tell your AI buddies to just assist you, but they seem to struggle even more at that. It's like I'm trying to herd blind, 3-legged, ear-infected cats, and they just won't go where I want to go, and they're driving the vehicles as well.
Yeah, and if you just sit back and watch it from the map, it's just, I mean, it's about as exciting as watching paint dry.
Less exciting.
Paint drying's not exciting. You can't say that anything's less
I've seen some pretty awesome paint in my time.
That
Max.
is the benchmark expression of super boring, because watching paint dry is essentially just staring at a wall. I would say the maps are nice and big, but that's actually a drawback since it takes forever to get anywhere with the useless AI. When it all works though and your units behave themselves and do what they're told, there are glimpses of fun. Watching all your craft leave your carrier and storm a beach has a certain epicness to it.
I think this game had potential, but they tried to do a bit of everything, but didn't manage to do any of it very well. It doesn't stand out as a strategy game, and the combat isn't impressive. We haven't gone into all the details about how each island has specific types of resource production, or how you can outfit and modify what equipment your units have. It is good that all that stuff is there, but it doesn't help the gameplay fundamentals very much.
I think that stuff did work better in the strategy game mode, which is exactly the same as the campaign, but plays more like a 4X game. You just get a large open map and go off with your carrier to take over everything. That said, I would hardly recommend this over just about any other decent 4X game out there.
Yes, it all feels very undercooked, and it's kind of like we're playing the tacked-on campaign to a fun multiplayer game, but there's no multiplayer here, so I'm giving it 4 out of 10.
I'm giving it 4 as well. Well, just like Barjo is a sidekick to Hex, there have been many gaming sidekicks over the years that have warmed our hearts, but can you name them all?